Hello tarot readers, today I'm going to do a review on the Ancestral Path Tarot by Cuccia-watts, and I have done a review on this before but I've got a new edition, so let's take a look. First of all, I'm going to just talk a little bit about the first edition that I've got of these cards, and this is the first edition, and I think I got these in, I think it was about 96 when I bought these, so it must have been 96 or very early 97. But I'm pretty sure it was about 96. That's the full card. And I bought these in a little shop in Broadstairs, and I absolutely fell in love with this deck. And I have done thousands and thousands of readings with this deck of cards, and I mean thousands. They're from US Games, and considering I've had them since 96, and the quality of the card is just outstanding, absolutely fantastic. The amount of usage I've had on these cards, and they've travelled all around with me. They've moved house a million times with me. They've gone all over with me. I've done readings with these in bars, on the beach, on trains, on planes, everywhere, and yet the quality is still absolutely fantastic. The Emperor card, beautiful, beautiful cards. Cuccia-watts is an amazing artist, absolutely amazing. And especially when she's doing images of older people, the elderly people, she really knows her stuff when it comes to artwork. Absolutely beautiful. So the second edition come out from US Games. The second edition come out, and I couldn't wait to get that. This is the second edition. I was so excited about getting another edition, and I kind of love it, and it's very much the same. The cards are very, very much, the image is actually the same on all the cards. Oh, that's a Magician. It's the same size, because these cards seem to be quite short and wide. And if you compare it to a Rider-Waite from US Games, your typical kind of US Games Rider-Waite, you can see there's quite a massive difference in size. So these are a lot shorter, but they're also a lot wider. And I love the size of them. They fit absolutely perfect for me. Great. But that's the old edition, and that's the new edition. Now, I never really took that much to the second edition. It felt a little bit like they'd just done a picture of the original and stuck it on a new card. As you can see, you can even see kind of like the outline. It's really weird where it's like where this card kind of stops here. This one, I don't know, it just feels a little bit weird. The images are the same, but the white borders were really white. I mean, look at that. Them white borders are kind of so white. And even though the images are just as beautiful, I did find that I had a little bit of a resistance to use these so much. I just don't use it that very often. Now, the Ancestral Path Tarot is based on 4 types of cultures. So we have the Native American culture, a Japanese culture, a Arthurian, is it called? So it's like the English King Arthur era, that kind of culture. And then the ones are Egyptian. So you have like these mix of traditions and cultures in these cards. And I think it works absolutely fantastic. Just love these cards so much. And just let me give a little shout out to the Judgment card. Oh, that is to me the nicest, best Judgment card ever. For me, the Judgment card is all about awakening, and it often talks about mediumship and connecting to spirit, connecting to the other world, waking up to the other world, and you can't really express that any better than in this card. It's just no better way of expressing my opinion about the card than in this card. I love this deck so much I even taught with it for many years. Now, I will just say Justice and the Strength card are back to being, the Strength card is back to being 11, and the Justice card is back to being number 8. So even though this follows very much a traditional Rider-Waite-Smith deck, it really does. At least I see it as a Rider-Waite-Smith deck, but you'll see the 8 and 11 are interchanged. And also the pages are princesses, which is nothing new. We do see princesses in other tarot decks, but it's really nice to actually see these princesses as pages in this deck. So then the third edition's come out. So I ordered it and I got this some weeks ago. So a few weeks ago this arrived, and oh my God, I have been praying to US Games for years to do this deck without borders. I mean, I've prayed so much to do this deck without borders, especially since that edition come along with these kind of really big white borders. I wanted so many times that they came without borders and a little bit bigger, because I do like big decks. So along came edition number 3, and oh my God, when I opened the box, I knew there was going to be bigger and I knew there was no borders, but look at the size of that. That is absolutely humongous. And just look at the size of these cards. Seriously, these cards are no borders. Look at that, 6 of coins, no borders. Look at the original. And look at the difference in size. No borders, and I mean, that is really exaggerated big. That is probably the biggest deck of cards I have, other than the giant Rider-Waite. They are really huge, huge cards. Look at them compared to the normal Rider-Waite. I mean, it's just humongous, the size of these cards. Absolutely massive. That is the first edition of the Judgment card, which I've just shown you. And along comes the big master. The huge edition of the Judgment card. I mean, that is a real big difference. But the images are still the same. I personally feel that they're a little bit darker, these bigger new ones, but when I actually compare them next to each other, it just feels like the tone's a little bit different, but it's not much darker. So it just feels like it's darker, if that makes sense. But they're not actually that much darker. Look, here's the strength card, and here's the strength card. Yeah, maybe they are a bit darker. I can't work it out. They do feel that they do look darker. And then they kind of don't, which is a bit strange. Look at that. You can really see the details in these big cards. Now, these cards are so beautiful that it really does deserve, they really do deserve to be in a massive print like this. In fact, you know, these cards are so beautiful, I could just hang them all around my house, because they really are the most beautifulest tarot cards ever. I absolutely love these cards so much. So the fact that US Games have done these humongous cards, but the artwork is so beautiful, it feels worth it. It really feels like, wow, yeah, these cards deserve to have this massive, massive card stock. Wow, look at that. Look at that star card. Absolutely stunning. I just love them so much. But at the same time, I can understand that for some people, these are going to be way too big. Not everybody's going to be able to use these cards. I can totally get that, the Chariot card. I'm going to show you a few of the minor cards as well. And like I said, I do think a lot of people, the Queen of Cups, the details have just come alive. And for somebody like me, the King of Cups, there's your King Arthur. For somebody like me who is addicted to this deck and uses it so much, for the cards to come alive on such big print, I think is amazing. But I do understand a lot of people are going to get these cards and go, there's no way I can shovel these, there's no way I can work with these. These are the Egyptians, the wands. I'm going to show you some swords. We have the 7 of Swords, traditionally known as the Thief card, and that's why I said it does follow like the Rider-Waite-Smith type images. You've got the Journey card, and behind him you've got the sea with the boat on the journey. So even though he's not on the boat, it's still the whole kind of scene going on there. The 4 of Swords, she's burying a sword. She's saying, you know, this is the end now. Let's bury the hatchet kind of thing. I need a break. I need to stop this. The 2 of Swords. The swords are your Japanese culture. Beautiful, beautiful the way that all these cards really do connect with each other. And yet the cultures are so different. The 7 of coins. Seven of Coins. Beautiful, beautiful card. And like I said, Julia really knows how to do elderly people. Look at her. Wow, that is the Nine of Coins. Isn't she absolutely beautiful? The King of Coins. Wow. You know, every time I see these cards, and I've seen them a million times, but just never this big, it's still breathtaking for me. Absolutely breathtaking. And the cards really make sense to me, which is what makes a difference. So you have the pages of princesses. Look at that, the Princess of Coins. The Two of Cups. The Six of Cups, the Nostalgia card. Absolutely, the Nine of Cups. I just amazing, absolutely amazing how beautiful these cards are. You know, no borders, huge. I did ask for big, but I think US Games really got all my prayers all in one day and decided to go really, really big with these. The Eight of Cups. This is one of my favourite Eight of Cups ever. In fact, most of these cards are my favourite. And I've been there. I've been to Stonehenge. I've been under them stars at Stonehenge. And the whole vibe of this card is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. And so, yeah, I just love these cards so much. The Devil card. Look at this High Priestess. High Priestess, beautiful, beautiful. The Empress card. She's got all this mosaic going on. Wow. She really comes to life in these cards. So the original first edition, to me, will always be my favourite. There's no doubt about that. This is the perfect deck of cards. The second edition will always be now my least favourite edition, although there's nothing wrong with them. But those huge white borders are a little bit off-putting to me. And now this new edition has become already, like, I've fallen in love with this edition already. Now, can we shovel these cards? That's going to be a question for some people, and I'll just show you that I personally have absolutely no problem shoveling these cards at all. Look, I've got no problem shoveling these cards, even though they're huge, but it doesn't mean it's not going to be a problem for you. And that's the thing. I can see a lot of tarot readers having a problem with these cards. I already have many tarot readers, especially students from the school, who find it really hard to shovel the Rider-Waite tarot because of the size. So you can imagine these are just going to be really hard for him. But for other people, I'm sure it's just a question of practicing and getting used to it. One thing I will say about this deck, though, is that the back of the cards are just... I don't know who's done this to the back of these cards. If you look at the first edition of the cards, you have this beautiful back of the cards where you have like this group of people, and especially you can see one person at the top who's kind of chanting to the sun. And if you turn it around, you can see the same type of group of people in a kind of a silhouette that are now chanting to the moon. So that is stunning. And they've got this beautiful blue, Celeste blue in the background. If we go to the second edition of this deck, then we have it very similar. You've got this beautiful image of people chanting to the sun. And if you turn it upside down, they're chanting to the moon. And again, you've got this gorgeous blue. And now we're going to go to the new edition. What is that? Is that a blob? What? I'm not even sure what this is supposed to be. And the colour, who chose this pale blue with a lilac tint, like murky colour? It's really weird. The backs of these cards, I feel, are a huge downfall for me personally. You might have a different opinion on the back of the cards, and if you do, let me know in the comments, because I'm really interested to know if that's just my opinion or if other people think the same, that the backs of these cards somehow have gone way out there with the changes. Nothing seems to have changed actually in the cards, except that they're bigger and they've got no border. But, you know, and the images are a little bit more like, you can really see that there's a few more things in these cards that have been brought out because of the size, the image, and probably because they've been a little bit more redone. So yeah, the changes in the cards seem very subtle but really beautiful. And then when you turn it over, it's like they've just chose this whole other back. And I suppose if you don't have these cards, the other editions of these cards, and you've never really seen these backs or worked with these backs, then maybe you wouldn't even really notice it. You're just seeing this kind of blue lilac-y type back of cards with this round thing in the middle that you can invent and pretend it was whatever you want to see. So maybe it's not going to bother anybody as much as it does me, but that's just me. But other than these weird little backs, the fronts are gorgeous. I cannot wait to do readings with these cards. And that's what I'm going to be doing all week. I'm going to be dedicating myself to doing readings with these cards. I'm so excited. The size doesn't bother me. It's just like shock me, but it is not bothering me. The no borders are fantastic. Certainly, definitely worth buying. I hope you like this little review of my Ancestral Path cards, and let me know in the comments, hit like and share me around and tell your friends about me. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video.